What's going on, everybody? What's going on? Let me see if I can put this a little bit down. Maybe the lighting is. There you go. What's going on, guys? What's going on? As you guys can see, I got my hybrid. Yeah, I got it. Yes, sir. Finally, they came. And if you guys can see, I got my icon that I came to. Yeah, my icon that I came. You guys can see it that much, but I'll take pictures. I got my color, my hybrid colors. For a lot of people that might be asking, Celso, but why you have that color? Why you have, your gothic or hybrid stuff? As I explained many times, maybe I could tell, the story, even though I did mention it before. Um, yeah, let's tell my story, of why I'm wearing this and uh, it starts when I was 15. Um, um, this was in Puerto Rico, and I know I want to say 16 years old, 16. And I remember when I was in Puerto Rico, I met these new friends in middle school that were listening to rock. They were gothic. They were listening to rock and stuff like that. Um, I was raised. Um, I was raised in Spanish music like salsa, merengue, bachata, reggaeton, stuff like that. And even though, yes, I was born in Puerto Rico, but then I was raised in the Bronx. I lived in Manhattan, Brooklyn, Queens, and um, I remember growing up. My family, used to listen to this old school salsa songs and merengue and stuff like that. And when I went to Puerto Rico, right? I started, when I went to Puerto Rico, I still was being raised with old school rap, Spanish, and old school. Well, I was introduced to the old school Spanish music because when I was raised in the Bronx, I was introduced to Biggie Smalls, Tupac, uh, Flavor Flav, NWA. I grew up to Michael Jackson and stuff like that. I grew up to music like that. But when I went to Puerto Rico, I was introduced to salsa. Even though my family, when I was living in the Bronx, I remember when my family uh, used to celebrate my birthdays at uh, what is called Central Park. I think it was Central Park in Manhattan. I remember that Um, when I was a kid, like I said, they used to, we celebrate my birthdays, and my dad and my family used to hear, you used to listen to like old school salsa. So I was introduced to that. I grew up to, old school salsa, old school merengue, Biggie Smalls, Tupac. So when I went to Puerto Rico, I was introduced to like old school rap, reggaeton, stuff like that. So when I was 16, I met these new friends in middle school, and I found out that they listen to rock music. And I remember we used to have this special spot um, in I want to say middle school, high school. We used to have this special spot where we used to meet up every mornings before we went to the classroom, because some of us, was going to the same classrooms. And one of my friends, had this. When you got to see the whole thing, um, one of my friends had this like little, those old school. I think it was a recorder. Those old school like radios or recorders that you could put a tape in. And what he used to do, he used to use that old school recorder and put the tape in. He used to listen to rock music in the mornings. And I remember the first day that I met my older friends in high school. That was the same friends of my friend that I met in middle school. And I remember that they was listening to rock music, and I'm like, it sounded cool. Like, I was like, okay, that sounds good. What is it? So they looked at me like I was living, like I was living under a rock. They're like, you don't know what is this? I said, no. What's this type of music? I never heard it before. It's like, you was raised in the Bronx. Like, you don't remember hitting Metallica? I said, I probably did. I was a little kid. I don't know. I don't remember. I don't remember that much when I was raised in the Bronx. I mean, remember some things, but if I was listening, I say because my family, they grew up listening to salsa, merengue, and stuff like that, old school salsa and stuff like that. They say, "Oh, this is rock music." Oh, rock music, okay. So I remember the very next day, I bought a cassette tape of corn. It was corn, and I started to listen into the music. Um, and I remember I was in my room. I think it was a Saturday morning. I was in my room, and I was not blasting the music because I understood that my grandmother was raised in the church and stuff like that. So I didn't want my grandmother to get mad at me. So I just, I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna listen in, but not gonna blast it. But my grandma heard it anyways. So she came into my room, and she was, what is this music? Like, she didn't got mad at me. She's like, what is this music? And I'm like, this is rock music. She said, oh, okay. And she just went back to whatever she was doing. And when I was 17 years old, I remember I came to Rochester, New York on May 28, 2001. And I remember that I do remember that cousin, my cousin used to be Gothic. Well, I don't know if he is right now, but my cousin used to be Gothic, wearing this, all this, wearing black, black the whole time, um, Gothic pants and stuff like that. And I was just like, I always was, watching him, even though I already was a rocker by that time. I already knew about Corn and Biscuit and all that stuff. Um, I remember that I asked him a question. I asked him a question. I said, "Why you always wearing black? Why you always wearing this necklace?" And he said that he was Gothic. I said, what is Gothic? He said, "You don't know what is Gothic?" I said, "I don't know what's Gothic." Um, so he sat me down. He explained to me what Gothic was and stuff like that. And he's like, "You know what? Let's go tomorrow," which was that next morning. He said, "Let's go tomorrow, and I want to take you to Hot Topics. I want to take you to Spencer's." I'm like, "What is Hot Topics? What is Spencer's?" I was like, he was like, "Hot Topics is where you get your Gothic clothes and stuff like that." It's like, "I want to take you over there. We're gonna go over there. I'm gonna get you some." I say, but he's like, when I want to ask you a question. Do you want to be Gothic? And I said, "Yeah. I mean, I might as well. I listen to rock music and stuff like that." And he said, "Okay, no problem. We're gonna go to we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna go to Hot Topics and Spencer's." I said, "No problem. Let's go." Um, that very next morning, we went to Hot Topics, and I remember it was like a whole new world. Like, I was looking and I see all these Gothic crows with skulls and uh, different colors and this Gothic pants and stuff like that. And he's like, "Are you sure you want to do this? Are you sure you want me? You want to be Gothic? Sure, let's go for it." Okay, so I went and I found this Gothic pants. He had the Gothic pants has chain on it and has green skulls because my favorite color is green. My favorite color is green. He had like green skulls and stuff like that. And I say, I want this. I want to try it on. So they let me try it on before I bought it. I tried it on. Uh, I had this shirt with a green. It says something. I think it said Adema, or it said Adema or corn. I think it was corn, but the color was green. So I liked it. I bought it. Next thing you know, he was like, "Okay, we're gonna go to Spencer's." Okay, so we went to Spencer's, and I got me this is what I got right now. This wristbands that I got here. And I had something like this what do you call them? Sleeves. This gothic sleeves and the collar with the spikes that I got right now. And he's like, we're gonna buy those. All right. He said, okay, you know what? Just get yourself a collar, with spikes, with the bracelets and the gloves and stuff like that. Oh, I bought it. And then we went to some place where they sell this black shoes with spikes on it and stuff like that. So we went there. I bought me some this really nice boots. They were all black and they had spikes on it. Like it had spikes on it, and it was really good. If they look really good. No, hold on. I'm gonna take that back. It didn't have no spikes on it. They were just all black. I think there was bands. The shoes was name was bands, and they were all black in the where the toe goes, the toes, the front part, it was white, and like around it was all white. There was and it says bands. It looked really nice. He said, we're gonna customize the shoes. Okay. He said, well, we need this, we need that. We need some hot glue, the gun. We need spikes. We need some paint. He said, you like green, right? I said, yeah. Well, trust me. He said, trust me, I got this. Okay, no problem. We bought the spikes. We bought green paint. We bought the hot, the gun with the hot glue. And he's like, we went straight up. Well, we went to the house, and he was like, now watch me. Okay, so I sit down, and he started working, customizing my shoes. The soles, the front part that was green. I mean, that was white. He made it green. Like he painted green. He put some spikes on the shoes, and they was looking very good. They look nice. I was okay. And he was like, okay, we're gonna go to this place when I'm gonna, you're gonna get yourself your trench coat. It was a trench coat, all leather. I said, okay. I say, I trust you, and this is a makeover for me if I'm gothic, so let's go ahead. We went to this place where we got the trench coat, all black leather. So I bought it. It cost me, damn it, Jesus Christ! I think that cost me almost $200. That trench coat. It cost me now almost $200. But I bought it. The job that I used to have in Rochester, New York, I was making good money, so I didn't care. And I didn't have back then. I didn't have long hair. My hair was short, was completely short. And he said, no problem. I said, you're gonna let your hair grow. That's gonna happen. I said, okay. And that night, I went to his friend's house. It was a whole group of gothic people. Like there was gothic girls, gothic guys, and we were all in the basement. And I liked the basement that his friend had. Like he had a whole big house. The basement was big, but the basement was remodeled. The floors was all black. The floors was all black. Um, he had like a nice TV, some couches, black couches. Like this basement was looking good. I liked the basement. So we were sitting there, listening to rock music, corn and biscuit and Red Hot Chili Peppers and Godsmack and and this is the early 2000s. This is 2001. So that's the first time that I started smoking weed. That's my first time, my first night that I started smoking weed. And this guy, he saw me wearing my gothic clothes and stuff like that. He was like, I like it. He said, I like it. And my cousin said it's his first time. This is his first day. He was like, first day? He said, yeah, this is his first day being gothic. He's like, welcome. Welcome to the family. Um, and I said, thank you, thank you. He said, do you smoke? I said, yeah, I smoke cigarettes. By that time, I started smoking cigarettes at the age 14, and I started drinking at the age 15. So I already was drinking and smoking cigarettes and stuff like that. He's okay. He said, let you go. So what's this? Smoke it. Okay. Start smoking it. So that's weed. And so, they say, this right here, we welcoming you to the Gothic family. I said, thank you. I was happy. They all was friendly and stuff like that. And, okay. So we started smoking, we started drinking. And he's like, yo, I got some Gothic girls coming over here. I said, oh, okay. He said, and I'm going to get your girlfriend. I said, I'm going to get your girlfriend. You're going to have a girlfriend. You're going to have a girlfriend, a Gothic girlfriend tonight. I said, cool, no problem. Thank you. And I saw this beautiful, oh my Lord. I saw this beautiful girl. Her name was, I forgot her name. Her name was Avril. By nickname, they used to call her Avril Lavigne because she looked like Avril Lavigne. But she was not Avril Lavigne, but she looked like Avril Lavigne because she had the same hair, the blonde hair. I think the blonde hair, and she had like blue eyes, and she used to wear the white T-shirt. She used to wear the white T-shirt, but she used to wear like a trench coat, with gothic crows and stuff like that. So I'm sitting down. I'm already high. I was like, my eyes were real closed. And I know that the first time that she got in that door, her eyes locked to me, like just like that, like her eyes locked to me. I don't know. It's like she started looking at me and smiling. So I'm drinking, and I'm smoking, and I smile, and I'm over here, smoking. We all having a great time, listening to rock music, listening to all that stuff, and hold on, let me. Sorry, guys. Let me fix this right here. Okay. So my friend, my cousin's friend, he was like, "Yo, I got a girl for you right now, and I want to bring her to you." I'm like, "Okay." He went to Avril. Avril, she was, white girl, very beautiful. Like she was a white girl. She was green eyes. I think no blue eyes. She had blue eyes, petite. Like she was, small. I think she was like 5'2", 5'1". My cousin was next to me. My two cousins were next to me, and he was like going like this. He said, "Okay, so okay, okay." They call me Kuto, Cuto. Like people that know me for many years, they call me Kuto, Cuto. Kuto is a nickname that my family gave to me since I was a little kid. So my cousin was like, "Okay, Kuto, okay, you're gonna have a girlfriend today. You see? You got it your first day, smoking weed your first day, you know, you're drinking, yeah, you're gonna have a girlfriend right now." I said, "Okay." Uh David, that was his name. David. And I remember it was my cousin's girlfriend, Cecily. Was Cecily. It was a lot of people in there. So David, he came with Avril. Avril came. She said, "Oh, how you doing?" And I was like, "How you doing?" So we shook hands. And he said, "Well, guys, I'm gonna leave you guys be." He told my cousin, let's go to let's leave them alone." So we start talking. We had a great conversation, and the connection, like, was just like that. We had a connection. She was like, talking to me, and she was like, "I heard this is your first day as Gothic." I said, "Yeah, this is my first day." And she asked me questions like, what was your first time that you started listening to rock? I said, "Well, I started listening to rock music since I was 16. So, at that time I have like a year and year or something listening to rock music and stuff like that. This is my first day being in Gothic, my first day smoking weed." She said, "For real?" I said, "Yeah, my first day smoking weed, my first day being Gothic, my first day. She said, "Oh, okay, okay." So, but I was 17 and she was 15, which I was like just like 2 years older than her. That's it. And my cousin, he was like, I don't think we're gonna go back home because you high, and I don't want your grandmother, be mad at me." And she said, "We're just gonna." What up, John? Right? You see? You remember that? You see? I'm telling right? Yeah, you was there. You, yeah, you was there. I remember. Remember that night? Yeah, you was there. I remember that. You was there. I remember that. Who else was there? I don't remember your cousin was there too. I forgot his name. One of your cousins was there. Yep, yep, right, yeah, yeah. You see? Yep. Yo, you remember well, but by that time you wasn't drinking, right? I don't remember. I know you was there that night with us. But I don't yeah. So I remember now because John, that's my brother John. I know him for 25 years, right? 24, 25 years. John was my, one of my first friends in Rochester, New York. I met him the first day, May 28, 2001. So Alonso. It was Alonso. Yep, Alonso. Alonso. It was Alonso. It was you. It was me. It was Nene. It was Josh, Cecily. It was a lot of us. It was a lot of us. A lot of us. So I remember, I want to say this. My brother John, he was like, because that was my first night. I was smoking weed, right? And I remember my brother John, he was like, I don't think we're gonna take you to your house to your mom because your grandmother might gonna get mad at us. And we stood, and he said we're gonna call your grandmother, and I called my grandmother, and I said, hold on, Joe Spencer. Yes, it was Joe Spencer. Yeah, it was Joe Spencer. It was yep. Yeah. See, do you remember? So I know. All the guys living with this girl because we was talking. I think her girl was Abro. I think it was her name. I think it was or no. Either no, it wasn't Nicole. I know no. We didn't met Nicole. Well, I didn't meet Nicole in 2004. It wasn't Nicole. Nicole didn't came to like around 2003 2004. So yeah, so we all were there. We all was having a great time. I was high, and I was, it was like, you're not going to. We all going to stay here. So we all, we all stood there. We stood over one of our friend's house. So the girl, she stood there too. She's like, you know what? I'm going to call my mom. I want to call my mom. And I want to stay over. So we all stayed over. We all stayed over. And that was my first day as being gothic. That was my first day. I remember, like I said, I had short hair. I didn't have long hair by the time. We were wrestling. We started wrestling. It was not yet. We didn't yet create RUW. It was CWF, right? CWF. We started wrestling as CWF. And I remember that night. I mean, that night before we had a show. We did a show in CWF, and April, I think that was her name. April, she was a sweetheart, and from that day I started being gothic. That day I started being gothic. I started wearing black. I started, wearing this, the whole, wearing that and all that stuff. And like around, I'm gonna say I be even though I didn't know I was a hybrid. Let me see, around 2005. Around 2005, my little brother became emo, and I was introduced by emo music. I was introduced by emo music, and I was listening to emo music. Avril Lavigne. Who it was? Avril Lavigne, Green Day, My Chemical Romance, and my little brother used to wear. My little brother. Yo yo. So my little brother used to wear like gothic hair and stuff. I mean emo hair and stuff like that. And I was like, I liked the music, the emo music. I loved it. My Chemical Romance, Green Day, um, Avril Lavigne. So during all these years, since my little brother became emo, I was listening to Brad Bill Bryce. Yeah, Brad Bill Bryce. Um, so I did not know that during that whole time I was hybrid. I was gothic and I was emo at the same time. That is hybrid. And I want to say like 3 weeks ago. Yeah, 3 weeks ago. Um, I was talking to one of my friends. He's a hybrid, and he was like, I don't know. He started asking me questions. He was like, uh, he called me C2K. C2K. What kind of music? I forgot what kind of music you like. And I said, okay, I like Brad Bill Bryce. I like Avril Lavigne. I like Red Hot Chili Peppers, Creed, Limp Bizkit, Corn. And I start mentioning, like Sisters of Mercy, uh, The Curse, um, like I started to like mentioning, I started to mentioning all these names, all these, rock bands, and he's like, "But you gothic?" I said, "Yeah, I'm gothic." He's like, "Do you know you're a hybrid?" I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, you're a hybrid." What is that? So I didn't know what a hybrid was. A hybrid is a person that loves listen to rock music. I mean, like emo music and gothic music at the same time. What's going on, guys? I want to say hi to John Jackson, Savage J, and Craven Michaels. What's going on, guys? What's going on? So, I was like, oh, so I'm a hybrid. He said, yeah, you emo and you gothic. So yeah, so he called one of my older friends that I haven't talked to her a long time. And she's an emo. And I used to hang out with this girl in Rochester for many years. And we was on a messenger, a Facebook messenger, we was talking. And he was like, when she saw me, she was like, Kuto. And I said, oh shit. I said, oh shit, how you been? So we was talking. And he told her, yo, do you know? He called me C2K, but she called me Kuto because she knows me. Like I said, people that knows me for a very long time, they call me Kuto. They don't call me Celso. They call me Cuto, Kuto. They don't call me Celso. They don't call me C2K. But my other friend that I know for a couple years, he called me C2K. He said, don't you know that C2K is hybrid? Hybrid? She was like, what? You hybrid? I guess so. I guess now I'm hybrid. He said, oh my God. I said, when did you start? I said, well, since my little brother, since the first day my little brother became emo. Since the first day. He started listening to, the emo music. I love emo music. And he's like, okay, you're a hybrid. And I'm like, okay. And she's like, okay, but why? Where are your colors? And I'm like, I ordering. I did order them, which I got it. I got my gloves and I got, with the chain and my collar and stuff like that. I said, don't worry, they coming. They're gonna come already ordering. And she was so happy because she's like, oh my God, my big brother is a hybrid. She's like, I'm gonna cry. And I said, no, don't cry, sis, don't cry. She was like, oh my God, I'm so happy. I can't believe my big brother, he's a hybrid. I said, you have been hybrid since 2005. I said, damn, yeah. She's like, yeah, you'll be hybrid for many years. I said, yeah, okay. So I got my colors today, and I call her, and I got my eye contacts. I don't know if you guys can see it. I got blue eye contacts. It's a long time I don't wear eye contacts. My hair is is growing. Thank God. But my hair is I'm gonna go back to my long hair. So, but my hair is growing, and Keontae, what's up, my brother? And she's like, oh, so I called her a couple hours ago. I called her. I was talking to her, but my screen was black. She said, "Can I see you?" And I said, "Okay, I got a surprise for you." He said, "Okay." So I went like this. I was like this, and she was like, "You got your colors. You got. Oh my God." He said, I said, "Yeah." I said, "They just got in. They just. I just got them probably a couple hours ago." And she's like, "I like it. I like it. I like it." You see, okay, now you look like a hybrid. Now you look like the Kuto that I know back in the day. And she's like, "You got eye contacts?" I said, "Yeah, they are blue eye contacts, but I'm gonna buy some other eye contacts, red. I'm gonna buy red eye contacts and white eye contacts very soon." But I got this for now. I got this blue eye contact. I don't know if you guys can see it. I got this blue eye contacts, but I will take a picture. You guys will see it. I will take a picture. And she was like, "Oh my God, my brother, my big brother, he's back." I said, "You're back?" I said, "I'm back." I said, "Yeah, I'm back." She's like, "How?" She's like, "How does it feel to be back? How does it feel to be to your normal self, to the real you?" And I'm like, "It feels good. I'm happy. It feels good. It feels great." Um, but I cannot wear this at work. I can't. I cannot wear my eye contacts at work. I wish I could. But I can. I cannot wear my eye contact. Not so, before I go to work, I gotta take everything off and be just plain Celso. I mean, I wear black. I do wear my black pants, and I do wear my black shirts under my work shirt. So it's kind of gothic. It's kind of hybrid. You kind of a little there. It's not like this, But I will wear all this when I'm home or when I'm outside of work. And yo, what's going on, my brother? So, and ¿cómo está mi hermano? So, it's been a long time that I don't wear this. Like I said, I'm a hybrid. I'm gothic. I'm emo. I listen to rock music. I listen to heavy metal. Don't get me wrong. I love my salsa. I love my merengue. I love my bachata. I love my hip hop. I listen to any kind of music, even country music. I do. But it feels great to, be back on my colors, man. It feels great. It feels really great. So now let's go to the topic of today. Let's go to the topic of today. So I was, I always watch videos, and I think I don't know if you guys remember B2K. B2K is a group where it was Omarion. I think it was Omarion. I forgot the other name. So B2K with different celebrities, they made a tour. They on tour. I think it was Bow Wow, Lil Bow Wow. I do. I listen to Don Omar. Yeah, I listen to Don Omar. I love Don Omar. Yeah, he's the best. Don Omar is the best. I listen to him. I listen to Dolmar. So um, there was, I think there's a tour with B2K, Lil Bow Wow, and of course, I'm not gonna call them keyboard warriors because if I call them keyboard warriors, I give them props. I call them keyboard crybabies. I don't call them keyboard warriors. Like a keyboard warrior is a person that defends himself in social media. He defends himself through a keyboard, and that's a keyboard warrior. A keyboard crybaby is a person that complains in social media, talk about people in social media. Uh, what else? They complain too much. They hating on people. That's a keyboard crybaby. So they somebody put a video. I think was Bow Wow was singing in a cage, and on a cage has "Beware of Dog." So of course people was talking bad about him. People was talking about making fun of him. And I'm like, do you guys know who's Lil Bow Wow? Do you guys know who's Lil Bow Wow? I know who's Lil Bow Wow. I grew up listening to Lil Bow Wow. I remember Lil Bow Wow was singing since he was a kid. I remember the song who no that's a whole different. I was gonna say who let the dogs out. That's not Lil Bow Wow. That's a whole different. Oh my god. What was the song that he was singing back in the day? Bow Wow, GP Joe, Bow Wow, Wow, GP Joe, GPJ, where my dogs at? That one. Remember when he used to wear the cornrows, cornrows all the way back, and he was with I think it was either Snoop Dogg or Dr. Dre, or it was somebody else, right? I don't think it was Snoop Dogg or Dr. Dre that signed him up. When he made that song, I think it was either Dr. Dre or Snoop. I don't remember, but he made that song. Bow wow wow, GP Joe, GPJ, where my dogs at? So here's Lil Bow Wow. Of course, this keyboard crybabies. Of course, they always complain. They always want to talk about people. They always want to make fun of people. And I'm like, really, you guys making fun of a legend? I said, do you guys know who is Lil Bow Wow? Oh, he's like 40 something years old, and he over here, singing in a cage. And I'm like, because he's Lil Bow Wow. It makes sense. Where do you put a dog? This is me talking to them. I said, where do you put a dog? You put him where? In a cage, right? Yeah. You put dogs in a cage, right? When they go to sleep, stuff like that. When you got people coming in your house, like you got guests coming in your house, you put your dogs in a cage, right? So okay, his name is what? Lil Bow Wow, right? Bow Wow, hello, Bow Wow. What is that? That's a bark. That's when dogs bark. Bow Wow. And I'm like, you guys making fun of him because he's in the cage rapping? Excuse me. That there's a sign on a cage that said "Beware of Dog." So you guys making fun of him? Why? What he's doing? He's in a tour with B2K. He's in a tour with all these rappers, and they singing their, these rappers and B2K, they're singing their old songs, the songs that we grew up with. So what he's doing? So I'm like, why you guys are complaining about? Like what did what he's doing? I don't see him doing nothing wrong. What he's doing. So there was another person, I forgot his name. Guys, remember gang gang gang, gang gang gang, something like that. I forgot the name. So of course they was making fun of this other rapper singing gang gang gang. Oh, he's 40 years old talking about gang gang gang, and I'm like, Lord have mercy, these keyboard crybabies. Sometimes I wish. You know, I am from I'm from a generation where we grew up listening to Eminem. We grew up listening to NWA, Ice Cube, Tupac, Biggie Smalls, uh, Lil Bow Wow, Exhibit, DMX, Aaliyah. I could mention so many rappers. Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, The Game. And every time we used to listen to the songs, or the concert, we was happy. We appreciate them. We appreciate the songs because this is the songs that we grew up with. So my generation that I come from, we had computers. We didn't have phones back then. We had phones, but not cell phones. We wasn't, yeah, we had computer, AOL. We had AOL, YouTube, excuse me, Yahoo. We had Yahoo, Messenger, and we were, going on chats before, and uh, we were, was like we even was downloading illegally, not legal. We was downloading songs to a CD, to a blank CD. And what songs we were downloading to this blank CDs? Lil Bow Wow, Eminem, Snoop Dogg, NWA, Ice Cube, DMX. We was listening to, driving our cars. You guys remember the CDs? We used to download CDs, to the blank CDs, and we used to listen to their songs. Cell phone, then the cell phone came, and we still, we went to YouTube, listening to these songs, listening to these rappers, and we never complain about them. We never talk bad about them. We appreciate them because this is the songs that we grew up with. And this new generation of keyboard crybabies complain about everything, complain about every single thing. They see this, they see this, some of these legends like Lil Bow Wow, they still singing. B2K came back, start making tours. Uh, who else was? I forgot his name. Oh, Lord have mercy, I forgot his name. He was singing with J-Lo before. Ja Rule. Ja Rule. Um, you see, now I'm forgetting names now. Lord have mercy. Who was the other one that I used to listen to him a lot? He used to sing, when I move, you move, just like that. When I move, you move, just like that. Hell yeah, DJ, play that back. I forgot his name. Lord have mercy. It will come. It will come to me. It will come to me. I forgot his freaking name, Lord. Anyway, yeah, like I'm saying, we grew up listening to these rappers. Some of them, they passed away, like Tupac, Biggest Smalls, DMX, Aaliyah. And we still have some, some legends that are still singing. Ice Cube is more of making movies than rapping. But I think his son is rapping. I think is. Um, Ja Rule, do he still singing? I don't think so. Write in the comments, is Ja Rule still singing? Ja Rule. I don't remember. I think he's still singing. Um, yeah, we got some rappers from back in the day still rapping, making tours. And my generation that I come from, we're still listening to their songs. We appreciate them because, it make us remember of our childhood. It make us remember memories. We got memories flashbacks when we hear this people rapping. We don't talk about them, but this new generation, keyboard crybabies, they always want to start talking about people, making fun about people, bullying people. It's like, you just shut up. Like, what is it that you're doing? Why can't you just be appreciative? Why can't you just be appreciative of the singers, that are okay, they're 40s, they're 50s, okay, so and what? What's the problem with that? What's the problem with that? We got rock bands that are still singing. Ozzy Osbourne, before he passed away, he made a tour. And some people talk bad about him. Oh, he's too old to be singing. Shut up. Shut up. Just stay there living in your mama's basement without paying rent, without no job. Just sit in your couch and do the same thing that we are doing. Just listen to the music. If you don't want to listen, don't listen to it. Don't listen to it. It's like, why? Well, I don't understand, man. I don't understand this keyboard crybabies, man. Sometimes I wish I could take all these keyboard crybabies and send them to a freaking land far away from us, and to take out the privilege of the internet, take out their cell phones, take out their computer, take out the tablets, and just living in the freaking land when they have no access to internet or Wi-Fi, and just leave people like us in social media. Social media would be so different if we didn't have this freaking keyboard crybabies. It would be so different. I just don't get, man. It's people are so stupid these days, man. And it bothers me because it's like, why just leave people alone? Like, you gotta be so careful of what you put in social media. Even through a photo that you put in social media, they want to talk about you. They want to try to humiliate you. Me, I don't care what people say about me. I don't give a damn. I don't care what people say about me. They could talk about my wrestling career. They can talk about my podcast. They can talk about my talk shows. They can talk about my food show. It doesn't matter because I don't care. I don't care what people say about me. It doesn't hurt me because words will hurt you if you let them hurt you. But the thing is, man, this keyboard crybabies, man. They have nothing else to do. They just want to talk about bad about people. And just shut up. Just shut up. Just mind your own business. Do you. Like, there's a saying, keep your opinions to yourself. Keep your opinions to yourself. Because we don't want to hear it. We appreciate this, this legends singing and, coming back to wrestling, and we appreciate them, and we happy. We see them, we get happy, and sing their songs, and that's it. We had just have a good time. Have fun. Stop talking about people, But anyway, guys, this concludes my episode of Celso Podcast with your host, Celso Tabo Jr. And I will see you again in the next episode of Celso Podcast. I love you. God bless you, and have a blessed day. Have a blessed day, and rock on.